So how's California doing right now?
Uh, I mean, it's still the same COVID. I think, like anywhere else. You got to wear a mask everywhere you go.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's probably about like that everywhere. But as far as the weather, it's still hot. I mean, it's like today's 91, tomorrow's 97.
Oh well. Yeah, well, today's the first day of fall. I think we hit almost 90 today. So over here in Florida.
Okay.
So
What part of Florida?
I'm in Central Florida. I don't know if you ever heard of Ocala.
No,
Yeah,
no.
I'm just north of Orlando.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not too far. And Ian's over near Tampa.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. You coming for the Olympia this year?
And we're so busy that I don't think I'm gonna make it this year.
Okay.
I know they wanted to retire me on the in the wheelchair Olympia stage
Hmm.
this year. Since I came back obviously in 2019 just to challenge myself. Really, that's all I did.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, but I know that my buddy Nick Scott wanted to retire me this year at the Olympia, but I don't think I'm going to make it. Just too much stuff going on.
Yeah. What do you? And we'll get. I just had to ask you real quick. You think Harold Kelly is going to take it again?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, no one's even close to him. He's like the Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen, but I've interviewed Gabriel a couple times. He's been on my show.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Direct from Italy. Yeah, he's a good guy. I like him. And you're from Cambodia, correct?
Yep, yep.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that, how you got over here and stuff. I know you've told this several times, and again, I apologize.
Yeah,
Um,
I came down as a refugee from Cambodia. I mean, pretty much. I was close to 7 years old, and we had to escape the communists, and we went to Thailand, and
mhm,
we're at a refugee camp down in Thailand, and then my uncle sponsors brought us to the United States.
mhm,
But as a little kid, I mean, this is when everything, pretty much, there's more than I think they said something about the genocide with over 6 million death. That basically happened from all the killing and pretty much communists.
mhm.
And anybody who's educated, they kill down to the babies. And I've seen stuff as a little kid that we couldn't even fathom as an adult.
Mhm.
Um, Dead bodies, and anybody who's educated, they kill down to the babies. Pretty much I've seen everything as a kid.
Mhm.
But we went to the refugee camp in Thailand, and we waited there, and then my uncle sponsors brought us to the United States, and then I moved to Virginia when I first came down.
Mhm.
And I was down there till I started junior high. Then I came to California.
Now, is Cambodia still as bad as it was back then, or has it gotten better?
No, no, no. It's
It's
communist on, and I mean they're trying to.
mhm,
It's still a third world country, however you want to look at it. But
mhm,
at
mhm.
the same time, I mean it's better than it was. It's
Yeah.
still right. You know, however you want to say it, cricket.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, since with that, and we don't really talk about this as much on the show, but what do you think about all the stuff going down at the border with all these refugees coming in? What's your opinion on that?
you know, I mean, my thing is that I'm if they came legally, I'm okay with it. But if they're coming illegal, then obviously I kind of have a problem with that, just because when I came down, it was because I was granted to come down,
Mhm.
and it wasn't like we try to take the boat into the country or anything like that.
Mhm.
Um, but it's kind of that catch 22 between the two. Some people against us, some people for it, and like I said, I just feel that if they came legally, then I don't have a problem with it. I
Yeah.
don't know how you feel about that.
No, I agree. I agree the same. Yeah. I just somebody that is an actual refugee. I just wanted to see what your opinion was on it. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Now, did you come straight to California when you came from Cambodia?
No, I moved. We came down to Virginia first.
Virginia.
My
That's
uncle
right. That's right. I'm sorry.
Virginia,
Hmm.
and then from there, when I started junior high, is when I came to California.
It's like we're losing him, Ian.
Yeah, technical difficulty.
Hmm.
Can you hear me?
You're breaking up. I lost your screen there.
There you go. I hear you now.
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Can you hear me now? Oh, see you.
Yeah, there we go.
You're back.
Yeah, you're back. Your connection's a little off there. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. So we'll fast forward a little bit. You mentioned high school and stuff like that. When did you start bodybuilding?
I started training my freshman year for wrestling,
Mhm.
and to get stronger pretty much. And I mean, I wrestled 98 pound my freshman year. And I just started working out, and respond came really quick, and progress came fast. And then my wrestling coach used to be a bodybuilder, and that's when he said I should do a bodybuilding show.
Mhm.
And my junior year, I decided, okay, let's do a show. And then after that, I pretty much got hooked. I mean, I came home with the first place best poser overall, when I was 17 years old. And I think that I caught the bug right after that,
Mhm. Yeah, you were
and then
hooked.
yeah. And then, I mean, every year I put on about 5 to 7 pounds, every year, 5 to 7 pounds. And I just stayed consistent with it. I was one of those hard gainer, a lot of people, they see me, when I was already a pro and so forth. And, thinking, this guy, he's a freak, but it wasn't always like that. It was starting off as a 98 pound wrestler and going from there.
Mhm. I think there's a picture in here with you when you start. Yeah, right here. What year are these two pictures?
Let's see here. I think that first one I was 19.
Okay.
And then the second picture, I was 31.
Okay. Yeah, that's amazing, man. That size you put on there. Did you think you put on size pretty easy?
No, I was a hard gainer. I mean,
Yeah.
I like I said, starting off from a 98 pound wrestler. I mean, every year I just put on 5 to 7 pounds, and I just stayed consistent with it. And I was one of those guys that just persistent, consistent, and just never really
Mhm.
never stopped. I mean, there wasn't any Asian bodybuilder back then, and
Mhm.
I don't think Asians believe that they can actually, look like that. So, but I just didn't really care. To me, it was like, I was challenging myself to see what I could do. And I never thought about turning pro and all that stuff. I mean, it was just competing, and one show led to another and to another. And then, then I gave myself that if I didn't turn pro when I was 30 years old, then I was going to quit.
Mhm.
I wasn't going to do it anymore, because I just felt like the political side of it, I just was done with it,
Mhm.
and especially when I was 29 years old, I lost to a judge, and he shouldn't even be in the top 5 at the national. I mean, Kevin Leroney didn't have him in the top 5. Milos, Sean Ray, all these guys, didn't understand, and I took second right next to him. And I think
Mhm.
that was the biggest blow to me. That
Mhm.
I, was like, you know what, I'm fucking done with this. I'm not gonna compete anymore. If this is how judging is,
Mhm.
then why am I gonna keep competing? And I remember I was eating at the dinner table, and Paul Dillette came by and, you know, talked to me, and Sean Ray came by and talked to me, and, you know, and I promised myself, I give myself one more year, that if I didn't turn pro, that I was done, you know. But when I did turn pro, it came pretty fast. You know, I mean, 4 months later, I competed in my first pro show and qualified for the Mr. Olympia right off the bat. So, and then rookie of the year the following year, and you know, was in every single magazine cover there was. So like, it was, you know, it came fast when I did turn pro, but at the same time, it took me a while, you know, before I got there. I mean, I trained when I was 17, and it took me 16 years before I got pro.
You started mentioning judging, and I'm looking at Ian because I know he's just biting over there to because you know, Ian competed in the Olympia. What, you 94?
95.
95.
95,
Yeah, 95 Olympia. So
yeah, no, I remember Ian.
Yeah. So
you know, that's why I retired. To be honest with you, I retired because I got sick of the politics in the sport, and that's exactly why with PCA, the federation that I run now, we don't allow, myself included, if I've got any association with an athlete, or I've coached an athlete, or any judge on the panel has got any association with an athlete or coached an athlete, they're not allowed to judge that class, and that's how it should be. I mean, I haven't judged so far this year in any of our shows, but I think politics should be taken out of it. Favoritism should be taken out of it. And did you say the guy that beat you, Chris, was a judge?
Yeah, he is one of, I forgot which district he was at, but he's one of the head judge. You know, his name was Greg, I believe, Valentino, if I remember right. And he was a judge, and Milos called him a beach boy, you know, because he didn't look like he belonged on that stage. And he's like, God damn, man, you lost to a beach boy.
I've seen some really dubious decisions where people, it's obvious to a lot of people. Honestly, backstage, the athletes know who's the winner, really. You know, if you're competing in a show backstage, you know who the top guy is. And then when that guy gets like fourth or fifth, it's like, what are the judges doing? What are they looking at? And it's, you know, I think it can get very political. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. But at least you got your pro card the year after. That's the main thing, right?
Yeah, I did. And you know, even like today, I mean, even locally in my area, you know, if you're like a part of this team and that team, if you're like the top sponsor of the show, you know, they have their people up there in that top 5 all the time, you know. And so like, the only way you're gonna really beat them is you gotta beat them. Like, you gotta come out and know that, okay, there's a winner right there. Because if it's close, it's not even going to be close, because they got their favorites already. Because if you're a sponsor of the show, then they're going to place you higher up.
That's wrong, though, don't you think? Do you think that's wrong, Chris?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not right. I mean, you know, to me, it's like they should judge the show with the winner. I mean, I had a judge one of the show with Michael Ahern and Tamra, and we judge. You know, to me, I was one of the head judge between the three, and like you know, and the owner of the show knows that I'm like, hey, I'm gonna judge this show as fair as I can, because I know how it feels to get fucked over. And so to me, it's like, you know, these guys work so hard, and to not place where they should be is wrong. You know, I know how it feels.
Yeah, exactly. I agree 100%. Absolutely 100%.
Now, do you, Chris, and some of the other guests we've had on, they've complained about this. Like, you feel like some of these shows, especially the Olympias, like, you should have been compared to somebody, and they didn't compare you to them, and you're like, and I know, because these guys have said this before, like, you go backstage, you're like, I know I'm better than him if they would have just compared me to him.
Yeah, I mean, I see they're getting a little bit better, you know, but that's still always going to be the case. And you know, before the before the show even starts, you kind of already know who's going to be first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. I mean, as far as the top five,
Yeah.
you know, but that's the political side of it, and it's always going to be that way. I don't think it's ever going to change. You know, it's NPC, IFBB, it's its own sanction, and I think that's not, I don't think that's going to change.
Yeah. Now, when you were hot and heavies, when Ronnie was kind of he was running the show, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, we did the European tour. It was me, Ronnie, Marcus Rule, Chris Colmier.
You
Even
got
like
third. You got third in that one.
Yeah. I took third next to Ronnie Coleman and Chris Colmier, and beat out Marcus Rule. So that was a good show. Even the San Francisco Pro, the first pro show I did, I beat out Gustavo Bedell. I beat out Chris Colmier. I beat out David Henry. I mean, you know, a lot of big names. So it was good. I mean, I had a good running that I did, you know, but I mean, even though the career, you know, kind of cut short a little bit, you know.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that if you're okay talking about it. I know you've got some. I've been doing some research, man, and I'm telling you, your story is really inspirational. It's I enjoyed listening to it. So in 2007 is when you had your heart attack.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah.
Okay, and was that a widowmaker with the aorta? Is that what they call that?
Yeah. So I had an aortic dissection. The main artery that's connected to the heart, it burst.
Okay.
95% of the people don't live through that. That's what, you know, Einstein died from, Lucia Ball. I mean, a lot of people die and think it's not a heart attack. It's aortic dissection. And you know, a lot of time it doesn't get tested. You know, it's not like a heart attack. So when it happens, you know. And you know, thank God I was able to slow my breathing down. I was training my client, and I felt like I had 1,000 pounds on my chest. And, I was able to slow my breathing down, and I told my clients to call the ambulance. And they called the ambulance and took me in, and all I remember is waking up, and they told my family that they weren't sure if I was going to wake up, and if I was going to wake up with brain damage and paralysis put together. Miraculously, I got up, and you know, I looked at my chest, and it's been cracked open and had staple all over my chest. And I remember taking that first cough, and I felt like my chest is going to rip apart.
Yeah.
And I just walking at point A to point B, I was out of breath, and I started walking, and then on the treadmill, and then start picking up 3-pound weights, and then 5-pound weights. And next thing you know, 6 months later, muscle memory, everything came back. And I decided 2009, I was going to do a show again, because I wasn't going to end my career like that, you know. And I came back.
Prior, so I'm sorry, for everybody watching, in 2007, now prior to the heart attack, you're still competing. And what did you weigh?
I was on stage at about 212, 215.
Okay. All right. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm 5'6". So.
Okay. So no, bro, you're a monster, man. You looked amazing. So 2019, you come back. What do you weigh?
2009 is
2009. I'm sorry, not 19. 9.
And I was about 198 pounds.
Well, it's not too bad.
Yeah. So it came back about 198 pounds. But I remember, you know, people seeing my name on the roster, and they're like, "Damn, what is he doing to himself?" And then when I got on the stage, I was like, "Damn, Dim looked good." And then took top 3 and qualified for another Mr. Olympia. And then I chose to, then I did the Olympia. Then I played a size game, didn't place too well. And then I decided to do the Sacramento Pro, because there was a show right after that. And I did that show, and I took 4th. And then I chose to retire. I mean, it was like, you know what? I had a good career, and I'm done. You know, I want to retire when I want to retire. And I was done with that. And then I had a they went back and did a CT scan and found that the rest of my aorta was starting to expand too, and I needed to get surgery on it. So they cracked me on my chest for the second time, and they did the second part of aorta.
We lost you.
Yeah, we're losing him again. Not to get him to say, I want to hear the story.
Yeah, me too.
So that's crazy, isn't it, Ian?
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate.
Mm-hmm.
I can relate. So after his 2007 heart attack,
Yeah.
did he come back competing as a regular bodybuilder, or was he competing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got you back, Chris. You started
Okay.
breaking up when you said they cracked your chest open again.
Yeah, so they decided to do another surgery, which is the ascending and then the descending.
Okay.
So they did both of those, and then so the guy who did the second surgery told, you know, obviously I had to go back to my regular hospital doctor, and they told me, don't have them do the stent. If they do the stent, it's not going to hold up. So I let them talk to me to doing the stent, and all I remember is in 2012 I felt like the same thing. I felt the 100-pound on my chest again, and I started sweating really bad, and I drove myself to the hospital, and I realized that this hospital, if they didn't have a good cardiologist, I'm going to die if I go in. So then I decided, because, you know, by law, if it's an emergency, they have to take you in. So I went in, and my blood pressure 240 over 180. And
wow,
you know, you had a heart attack. So
that's stroke city there. Holy crap.
Yeah, hypertension.
Mm.
And they took me in right away, and basically they did the fourth surgery, and they cut me from the back of my shoulder blade through my rib cage to the front of my stomach, opened me up sideways.
Mm-hmm.
And when I woke up, I remember being in the ice suit for 2 days, and I was freezing, and I didn't understand why they had me in this ice suit for 2 days. And then come to find out, they was trying to preserve my spinal cord. And then I finally, after the second day, said, hey, please take this off. And then the doctor came in, and he says, Chris, you know, I did everything I could, and there's a chance you'll never walk again. And then at that point, I tried to feel my legs. I tried to move my toes, and I couldn't feel anything. I tried to take a first step, and I fell. And I realized that, man, I might end up being in this chair forever.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to train myself just from sitting up straight, transferring to the toilet, transferring to the bed. I mean, just the basic things that we take for granted, you know, not having our legs. And then I was in a rehabilitation rehab center for about 90 days. And just to learn how to, you know, do the basic things from a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, I had to train my bowel movements, you know, because I was shitting on myself left and right, because I couldn't feel anything from the belly button down.
Mm-hmm.
I had to use a catheter, you know, I had all the basic stuff that were, you know, not having the feelings, you know?
Yeah.
And that was the hardest thing. That messed with my head more than being in a chair. Because
I was going to ask, how psychologically, what's going on?
Oh yeah, at that moment, man, I was just like, man, you know, I'm a grown man shitting on myself. You know what's up? And so it kind of messed with me for a little bit, and then you know, after I learned how to train my bowel movements and, you know, use a catheter and all the basic things that, you know, I was able to learn to do. I felt a little bit better, but, you know, overall it was hard. I mean, mentally it was like seeing other people walk, seeing other people go on hikes and dance and all the basic things. And you're just like, man, I'm in this wheelchair, you know, and I did a ton of rehab, you know, to get my legs moving. And you know, I can move certain things, but for the most part, I mean, I'm pretty much wheelchair bound.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, that's when I came back in 2019 after 10 years of not competing, and you know, told myself that, you know what, I'm out of shape, and I'm gonna get myself in shape in 1 year and do another show in a wheelchair. And you know, I came back in 2019 and did the wheelchair Mr. Olympian, did the wheelchair basically the Arnold Classic. And you know, and after that I retired. It was like, you know, because I got that scar, you know, can I keep getting better, you know, from one show to the next? Yeah, absolutely. But I got that scar from being cut from the back of my shoulder blade to the front of my stomach, and it kind of throws my abs off a little bit from that side, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And when I hit my double bicep, you know, you can see that one side is kind of, you know, deformed. So, you know, no matter what, I'll never look the way I want to. So that's when I said, you know what, I came back and I challenged myself, and then that's it. You know, I'm retired, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. That is an absolutely incredible story. I mean, I can't believe what you've been through, man. That's just incredible.
Yeah.
That was the hardest thing I can honestly tell you that I did, is compete from the wheelchair standpoint, because, you know, I couldn't get into a lot of machines. I had to learn how to improvise a lot of movements. My girl was taking off the weights, putting the weights on for me, spotting me. I mean, you know, if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be able to potentially, you know, look the way I did. But at the same time, I came back, and, you know, but that was the hardest thing that I can say I've ever challenged myself to do. I
I read somewhere that even before your injury, you were a big machine guy. You didn't do a lot of free weights, huh?
I did everything.
Okay.
I did everything. I mean, you know, a lot of people didn't believe in a lot of machines, but to me, it was always like, what can I do to show in so many different ways, you know, where a lot of people is free weight. But to me, like, you know what, if I can, you know, change my.
Losing him again.
Over.
You hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, there you go. Now you're back. Yeah. You start talking, all of a sudden you're just sitting there like, oh, is he frozen or? So does heart issues run in your family, or is that just a kind of a freak thing that happened?
High cholesterol runs in my family. My dad died from a stroke at 54.
Okay.
Cambodia. My mom's got high blood pressure, high cholesterol. So it, you know, that runs in our family naturally. So
yeah, that's crazy. Something else I was going to ask you.
I can relate, Chris, because I had open heart surgery December 7th last year. I had 6 bypasses, so I've only had it done once though. I haven't got it done 4 times like you, but I can completely relate to the whole recovery thing, and having your chest cracked open like that. It's kind of it puts a different perspective on life, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
What are you doing now, Chris? You training people, or what are you doing?
Yeah, so my girl and I, we do co-scoping, which is basically it's a fat freeze. Like, instead of doing liposuction, you freeze that fat in that area. What it does, it melts it.
I heard of that.
It takes about 20-25% of the fat away in that area. So we're doing that, and I'm still doing personal training online, and you know, basically I converted my whole garage into a gym. So so we train people here at the house, and then we do the co-scoping, and then also my partner and I, we're getting ready with my girl and his wife. We're putting up a meal prep company, because he's been a chef for 20 some odd years, and And so he knows how to make food taste good. And then obviously I want to make sure it's healthy at the same time. So we're putting together a meal prep company called Fit Chef Meals. So we're getting ready to start that also in a couple of weeks. So I keep myself busy, you know.
Yeah, sounds like it. It's great.
So are you still involved with the sport, Chris?
What's that?
Are you still involved with the sport directly? Do you go to shows? Do you judge? Do you do any of those things now?
You know, yeah, because I mean, I still got some clients that competes, you know. But I don't take on a lot of clients like I used to, because, you know, competitors take a lot of your time.
Yeah, they do.
And I rather train, you know, the general public who just want to get in shape and then look healthy, because they don't require a lot of time. Where, you know, when I take on a client, you know, you got to help them pose, you got to, you know, make sure their diet's on point. You got to change it up on a regular basis, and you know, you always, I mean, it just takes a lot more time out of you. So I try not to train as many athletes.
I can feel you on that one for sure. Yeah, they're very demanding, very demanding.
We got the Arnold this weekend, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who's your favorite? You've been keeping up with that?
Yeah, you know what? I've been following that kid. I think he's going to actually do pretty well. Nick Walker.
Yeah, he's the big sensation right now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think he's going to shock a lot of people just because he's got a lot of muscle mass, and he's been getting, you know, just shredded. So I think, you know, from coming in 2019 and just turning pro, and, you know, I think he's really moved pretty fast as far as in the pro rank.
So, do you miss competing?
You know what? I yes and no. I mean, you know, I miss being on that limelight, but at the same time, I know how much works it entail to look like that, and you know, to be that way. And so to me, it's like, I don't know if I ever want to work that hard again.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. Yeah.
I think it's definitely the hardest sport there is, period. I don't think there's a sport quite as...
It's definitely the most disciplined, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
by far, yeah.
Yeah, there's no other sport quite like it.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Chris, man, I appreciate you coming on and telling your story, man. That's amazing. You're a true inspiration. That's all I can say.
It's incredible, actually.
Yeah. I want to read something real quick, that an article I read, and a quote you said: "Smile more today. Life is too short. Be grateful for being alive. Remember, someone out there has it worse than you." And you end it with, "Have a fantastic day."
Yeah. Believe that 100%.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of us, we don't wake up in gratitude, you know, and I think if we wake up in gratitude, we'll have a better world, because we're always like, you know, not having enough this and not having enough that, and, you know, and so forth. And, you know, overall, it's like, there's someone out there that has it way worse than you do, you know, and it's like, if we wake up in gratitude, I think the world would be a better place.
I agree with you 100%.
Well said.
Yeah, definitely.
Well said.
Definitely. I
Awesome.
think bodybuilding is a very self-centered sport. I think a lot of the time, and I think I was guilty of this, and I'm sure you were as well, Chris, you get very self-centered. You think everything's about your show and your next meal and you sleeping. But when you've been through a life-changing experience like you have several times, and like I have, it makes you realize that, you know, as a bodybuilder, you're the one choosing to put yourself through this. You're the one choosing to restrict your calories and go on a diet. And then you'll end up complaining and being miserable with other people because you're putting yourself through that. And at the end of the day, you should be blessed and just thankful that you're able to do it at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah, my mentor said something to me once, and I never forgot it. And he says that 95% of what we do in life is self-inflicting.
That's true. Very true.
Absolutely. It's very true. I think for more bodybuilders, and not just bodybuilders. I mean, people in general understood that. I think, like you say, I think that the world would be a better place if we all woke up with a bit more gratitude for being here in the first place.
Mm.
Fascinating. Very inspiring, Chris.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, like I said, I know you've told your story many times, man. I appreciate you telling it to us. So
Yeah, no, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I can't wait to share it with everybody, at least my fans.
Appreciate it.
All right, well, we'll end it there. You gentlemen have a good evening.
All right, thank you.
Pleasure
All right.
meeting you, man.
Thank you, Chris.